Hi, and welcome to show number 43 of the elcafecitotraveltalks, a podcast where people share travel stories and adventures. My name is Tony Lloyd, and I'm your host. First of all, I'd just like to apologize to everyone for the delay in putting out the show. Things will be back on track for the next few weeks, and I'll continue to put out weekly shows. For this week, I have a father and son who are farmers from northern US, and they decided to take their winter break, even despite the COVID and all the different things that are going on, to come to Ecuador and share a father and son moment. But before we start, I'd just like to remind you that if you'd like to contribute to this show through donations, please take a look at the podcast notes to see how you could do that. On our Facebook page, you can find the written stories, and if you're someone who likes to write or have an idea for future podcasts, please send me an email to elcafecitotraveltalks@gmail.com. Any comments or observation about the show could also be sent to that same email, which is elcafecitotraveltalks@gmail.com. For now, please get yourself a cup of tea or a coffee and enjoy today's show.
My name is Brian Altonen. We are visiting from the United States, Michigan. I'm here with my son.
Hey, how's it going? I am Alec, and I'm traveling with my dad right now, who you just heard. And yeah, we're just two farmers from northern Michigan that just got here in Ecuador not too long ago. It must be like, what is this, our third day?
This is our third day, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm excited to talk to you guys because it's like there's a lot of stories here, okay? First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about why you decided to travel COVID, what the father and son team of traveling together, also a little bit about what was happening back home with the farm industry. So I guess we'll start right into it. So let's talk a little bit about your background of travel. So each one, if you could just explain to me a little bit about what your travel experience were previously to this.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. This is Brian. My travel experience as a child, we just basically a Florida fishing trip annually. That progressed into maybe skiing trips around the States. Basically, I just was we visited the United States. We didn't go out of the country. So this is a very new experience for me. I've never been out of the North American continent. I've been to Mexico. That's my travel experience. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy the people, the activities, the scenery. It's just exciting for me to be here.
Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do for the rest of the interview, I'm going to call you father and son. I'm going to say dad and son.
Yeah. Perfect.
Just so that people who are listening to us could sort of get an idea of
it's a good reference.
Which part, who's speaking and which part is speaking. Does that sound fine?
That sounds fine.
Okay, great. Okay, so son, what's been your travel experience?
I originally started traveling in, the first time I left the country, it was definitely just a trip that we went to like one of those all-inclusive resorts in Mexico, right? Just like you get to Mexico, you fly in, and you stay at the resort the whole entire time. And I went with my parents, of course, on a spring break, just for a week on the west coast of Mexico?
Yep.
Yeah,
Cancun.
It was, I can't remember the exact name of the town. Then we went to, Cancun a few times after that, and that's really how I just got started. But that's not the real traveler, like you get the real experience out of it. It's just a bunch of Westerners staying in an all-inclusive resort. And then, my sister, it's just me and my sister who my parents had. And she started doing these high school trips, and she got to go to Europe. Where else did she? It was Australia, New Zealand. And so she's 5 years younger than me, and she started traveling like way before me. And I got kind of jealous, so I said, well, then I'm going to take my own trip. So I just signed up for a backpacking trip, and that was the one that I took where I originally met you.
Okay.
Which was just like short stint in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru. And then I did some backpacking trips since then. Yeah, and I put in a lot of time. Just solo backpacking mainly, and I traveled with some friends, did some work in Australia, and yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to talk a little bit again about when we first met and the differences between travel here and there now. So basically, you were the one that provoked this trip to get your father out there traveling?
Yes.
Okay.
So
tell us about that. How did you...
Okay. Well, first you got to kind of understand, my system for the past few years has been, we're farmers from Michigan. So in the summer, we have to hustle. There's no free time and, no time to enjoy it. But in the winters, we get a lot of snow. There's nothing growing. There's nothing going on. So we get 6 free months in the winter. So I just started, when I graduated from university, I just, worked my butt off in the summer, saved up all that I could, and then I went in the winter. I used all the months I had, like all 6 months, just travel. And I did that for 3 years in a row up until now, when coronavirus was happening and I got cut off. I couldn't go abroad, and just because travel was shut down, and it was just missing. But so I wanted to start up winter travel again. So my dad, I was talking to him, and he decided to actually go on like an 11-day trip to Ecuador with me, and I was like, 3 weeks before we came here, let's book the flight and do it.
Okay. So, Dad, you're supposed to be the responsible one. Okay. Yeah. I guess people are listening out there going, okay, so how did you get your son to convince you during COVID, when a lot of people are saying that we should not be traveling? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like when we first started talking, I've been kind of jealous of his travel over the years. So when we first started talking about this trip, kind of the COVID thing was going in the right direction, as far as it felt like it anyways in the States, that it was going in the right direction where we could probably do this safely, and that's kind of, and then shortly after we booked our trip, and after the holidays is when things really, Thanksgiving and Christmas, it kind of spiked again. So we were quite worried, but we just felt we could take precautions and protect our own health and other people's health, and we thought we could do it responsibly.
Okay. That's a good way to do it. People should know that if they're planning a trip like this, that definitely you can do it, but you have to think of it as protecting yourself and protecting others along the way. First few days here in Ecuador, first time on the southern hemisphere, first time outside of the continent, North America. What's been some of your first impressions? Like, what's been...
Just my first impression is just the natural beauty of the area. It's, we started on a coast, the Pacific coast. We traveled up here, and just the scenery and just the beauty of the place, the mountainous scenery, and just the people seem to be just down to earth. Everybody's been just very accommodating. I don't speak the language, but Alec does. He's been kind of the lead.
Your translator.
The translator and the lead.
The guide.
So far he's kept me out of trouble, so I appreciate that. But
I'll just say, like, one of the decisions that came into it is, Ecuador is a very, like, welcoming place for first-time travelers. Mm-hmm. Like, especially for people from the U.S. They use the same currency as us. The Spanish is friendly enough where there's no, like, real slang, and people can speak clearly. So I'm not the best at Spanish, but I can get around here pretty easily. And, it's the same time zone as us back home. Mm-hmm. Along with the COVID thing, too, there was an opening where Ecuador is allowing tourism again. And safety was kind of our primary thing. So, like, all the factors kind of lined up, and, like, we just, bit the bullet.
Yes.
Which...
Mm-hmm. And what's it like taking the role of the dad, the follow the role now? Because you're usually the one that's leading. You're the father. And now you're in a situation where you're relying on him to make sure he doesn't translate incorrectly for you.
He doesn't know what I'm saying.
As long as he remembers that I'll take charge when we get home on the farm. So,
is that right?
But I'm happy I'm happy to be the secondary person here. I trust Alec, and that he'll get us home safely and keep us out of trouble. Yeah, I'm happy to do it. It seems natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe I should have asked this question before, but as Alex just said a few minutes ago, your wife and you have a daughter. What did your other family members have to say? Your other relatives about taking this trip?
Elise, my daughter, she was, my wife too. They were excited for us, yet concerned. Mm-hmm. Especially my Alec's mother, Christy. She is a mother, so she's concerned about us, but she's dealing. She's
dealing. I like that part. Okay, well, I'm going to tell her that you're fine, you're safe, you're healthy in front of me, so that will help.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, she's been supportive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just so.
The neighbors. Neighbors are always nosy and always want to. Or you didn't tell the neighbors.
This was kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Just close friends know that we're here and family. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now everybody knows.
That's all right. We'll be home by then.
It's not public.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Or they don't listen to podcasts, your neighbors.
No.
Yeah.
So, well, before coronavirus hit, my sister and I, who is a traveler, we planned to go to Patagonia. Mm-hmm. And then when things got shut down, we couldn't go. So I'm just happy that, we got to do this, which is kind of like it's itching my South America scratch, because I love this place. Like all the countries down here that I've traveled to, I've really enjoyed. And yeah, it's just a good time down here.
I'll add that as we were first talking about trying to do something, everything kind of pointed towards Ecuador. So
okay.
like for me, it's more of a good place for a first time backpack traveler, and I got my son that I'm traveling with, and so Ecuador is our first choice.
Okay. Actually, you mentioned to me also not only that it's their first time in the Southern Hemisphere outside of North America, South America, I've probably repeated that a few times already, but that it's the first time you've ever stayed in a hostel.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I know that we're not having the current hostel experience like we normally have.
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts on that? Or maybe...
I'm impressed. I mean, I just didn't know what to expect. Alec was telling me stories about, how he hooked up with other travelers, and then they went around as a group and stuff like that, and it's not the same, and he's voiced that too. That it's a different experience. Yet he's been here before, and you've been more than willing to help us along, point us in the right direction. So I'm impressed. I mean, it's easy.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Son, just so that I know it sounds weird saying son, but so you've been traveling before in hostels, and give people a little bit of explanation of what you see the difference between before and after.
With hostels before and after coronavirus?
Yeah, or even just here at the Cafecito.
Yeah, so
that they get an idea of what's happening.
I stayed in this hostel that you manage here in Cuenca. It was 3 years ago. It was in 2018, and around the same time, it was middle of February. Last time I was here, it was packed. Every single bed was almost booked up. It was a very social atmosphere, and now we're the only ones staying in the hostel. It's just me and my dad, which we're fine with. We didn't
yesterday
come down
you had
here
3 other people, but
they're gone. Yeah, they're gone now, and so we didn't come down here for the social aspect of it. I love the social aspects of hostels where you get to meet other travelers. And last time I was here, I was the only American that was in the hostel for most of my stay here. And yeah, I didn't come down here for the social aspect, but I do love hostels in that regard, and I hope one day that it can return to normal. And
well, let's hopefully that happens soon.
Yeah, and I'm not done with travel, so yeah, I hope there's some good hostels in my future. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take us back a little bit now. Let's talk a little bit about what was happening at home as far as farming, and how the last few months or the last year has been for you.
Well, it's been a roller coaster, really. We really, we also on our farm have a winery. We specialize in hard cider, and we just, we got shut down. The farm was idle anyway, and we just didn't know what to expect. And we ended up selling a small portion of our farm to offset the kind of piggy bank some funds to maybe make it through the summer, in the growing season and the harvest season and all that, and we just didn't know what to expect. The farming actually, in agriculture in general in the States, really, it's kind of odd to say, but it really benefited from COVID. I mean, people were taking our products and just taking them to their own kitchens and preparing food for their families, and it was really kind of an odd situation, but we have a couple of retail farm markets that we own, and it really, it was an unfortunate situation for everyone, except, we did benefit from additional sales of our products. In agriculture in general, people were just, they were kind of back to the basics, getting the agriculture raw products, taking them to their own kitchen, preparing them. So farming was, in the States, overall we had a good year. And we went into the not knowing what to expect. Like everyone else in the world, who knows what's actually going to happen. And so... yeah, and then the winery was down about 15%, overall year end. And we had to completely shut down for a while, and then we were allowed to have to go, and then we were allowed to have
50%
half capacity
on inside.
Yeah, outside we have it's right next to the orchard, so people can meander around the yard. That was kind of business as usual, except for the face mask and all that kind of stuff. But it was a roller coaster ride, and it turned out to be way better than what we anticipated. So.
Okay. And what were the main products that you're producing on the farm?
Well, we start out the year with flowers. We have greenhouses, and then our main products are, strawberries, cherries, peaches. We do a lot of sweet corn, apples, hence the apple juice that we make wine out of, And then we have a vineyard. What else? Pears.
You pretty much hit all of our main...
Yeah, the main crops. We have cherries are the number one crop. We live just north of Traverse City, which is considered the cherry capital of the world. So
some nice cherry wines.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice, yes.
Very nice cherry wines. So
Yes,
if you're ever in that, maybe you could tell them where your farm is. So if anyone is ever in that area, or anyone who wants to travel to the U.S., because we have a lot of people who are not from the U.S. listening to us also, and they want to go to a farm.
I've been there my whole life. It's a beautiful area. It's lots of water. It's on the west coast of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan, on Lake Michigan, and it's called Traverse City is the cherry capital of the world. We're located in Elk Rapids, just north of there, 10-15 miles north.
Yeah.
Right on the coast.
So
Can't miss it.
Yeah, our farm and the cider house that we have, we call it a cider house, but we do wine and cider. They're under two different names. It's just our family name, Altonen Orchards is the orchard, and cider house is called Town Line Cider Works, which is just relatively new, and it's doing good. We do like canned ciders on tap, and wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you're doing flowers. I don't know if you know that Ecuador is one of the largest producers of roses in the world. The high stem roses, the long stem roses, and they say that it's because we're on the equator line. They grow straight up. That's what makes them grow straight up and strong, because the sun is directly above.
Yeah.
So I don't know if when you're going through your journey now in Ecuador, you might see quite a few greenhouses producing flowers.
Yeah. I did know that, and I know a lot of our clippings that we transplant come from this part of the world. So.
Okay, interesting. Interesting enough. What has been some of the thoughts that you've had about what you would like to? As now we have the trolley going by, and we're
all the background noise,
and all this background noise. So we're gonna look at that. And then,
there were some teenagers playing music earlier.
Exactly, but we're still going. So, okay. What have been some of the thoughts that you've had about what you'd like to get out of this trip, or what have you had? What have you thought about when you thought, I'm going to go to Ecuador and go on this trip? What some of the thoughts that you had on that?
Well, it's kind of like going into the spring of 2020. There's a lot of unknowns, but I've talked to Alec, my son, a lot about it, and also what to expect on our trip. Right now we're kind of in maybe the more of a cultural aspect of the trip, and we're going to go up to and do some hiking and make potentially some biking and water activities, So I think as we talked about the schedule of this trip, I said, well, let's go to the mountains. Let's do that work first, the
high altitude,
that kind of stuff, and then we'll spend the last couple days on the beach. So we're gonna try to fit as much in as we can in the 10 days that we're here, 11 days that we're here. I can see right now that we need to come back to really spend more time in this area. There's just so much to see and so much to accomplish to really appreciate the country. So we'll be back.
Okay, and Ecuador will love to have you back.
Yeah.
What have you thought about? You're now the. Sorry, I'm talking to the sun now. Okay, people can't see us. So you're the one that's leading. You're the lead. You're the guide. What were some of the objectives that you would like to get from this trip with your father?
Wow, yeah, I spent a month here last time, and it's still not long enough to do all the things that they offer here. But there are some things that I'm repeating. There's some destinations that I want to see again and show my dad just because they're amazing. You got to see these things. But there were some regrets and holes of my kind of my circuit around Ecuador that I missed out on some things that I really wanted to do, and I didn't have enough time. So one of them is just like hiking around a really high crater lake and called Quilatoa. And I told my dad that was my biggest regret of not doing it the first time. It's just this beautiful hike. And so I'm trying to make a good mix of it. I'm trying to show him like the parts that I really, really enjoyed that I need to show him, and some things that I missed, so I can make it a little selfish, but he gets to experience them with me for the first time. So that's just kind of my like broad spectrum plan.
Well, I think that idea of regret, let's not say regret, let's just say what are the drawing points that will bring us back to a place? Because there's so much that we'll never be able to cover everything anytime we go anywhere in most places in the world. My last question, I'd just like for each of you to maybe give a point to the audience where it could either be a learning experience. You've just started your trip now, so maybe there's not that much learning experience right now, but just a general thought about travel and last words.
Okay. Yeah. My advice would be just do some research. It's easy to do nowadays, and just do it. Just go. I'm 52 years old. I've never been out of North America, and there's so much to see, so many people around the world that they're basically, they're all the same. They're just trying to live, take care of their families, and I just say do it, because you got to live.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah. I think that the game of travel and how people travel is just completely different, and since the pandemic hit, really. Mm-hmm. And I know that I felt I felt like I was missing out on so many things by not traveling on my, when I usually get out and travel during the winter. So I was just sitting there sad at home, and I know that so many other people have been affected by the coronavirus in a bad way. And, one of the first things that they want to do when they're done the pandemic and they're able to travel is do it, and do it safe. And that should be your primary concern, but you shouldn't be held back by saying that, I'll save up some more money and I'll do it in 2 years' time. Now is the time to do it, because I thought that I would be, that I would want to save up and get a corporate job after university, but I decided to travel, and I do not have a single regret. I've traveled to so many cool places, and it's kind of just fed my urge to travel more and do more things. And you don't want to get to the end of your life and live with regret. Okay. And so, just go and do it, but do it the right way. Do it safe, and know that one day we can travel again, and we'll have a new status quo, and hopefully it's one that will include the freedom to travel. So,
okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's our time for today, and I will definitely at some point catch up with you guys again. So we will keep in touch, because I want to hear how this turns out the end of your trip. And then I hear that when you're finished here, you're going to a beach house for a couple of days.
That's where we get to prove to Mom that we're still alive.
No, Mom, they'll be fine. I promise I'll send them back safely. Okay.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you for listening in. Hope you enjoyed the show. The contact information for both of my guests will be found on our podcast notes. Also in the podcast notes is a link on how you could donate to this show. All contributions will be gratefully appreciated. Please don't forget to subscribe to any one of your podcast providers so you get all the updates as soon as they come in. Bye for now, and please stay safe.